students, welcome to our physics class. Our chapter name is heat, and in the last classes we are discussing about heat transfer. Now we can start from the heat transfer itself. This is a very important section and you want to study it well. And now the question is, what is this heat transfer? I am considering two pieces and this is something iron and this is steel. This is iron and this is steel. Now I am doing that. I am joining these two pieces and this piece have a temperature of 80 degrees Celsius and this have a temperature of 50 degrees Celsius. So when I am joining these two pieces, what will happen? Obviously here have a temperature difference and then this higher temperature will flow to lower temperature. That is, the heat is transferring from this higher temperature body to lower temperature body. Here takes place is the heat transfer. So this heat transfer maybe takes place in different objects from one body to another, or it can also be takes place from, I am considering a single piece of iron and I am heating from here. I am just burning a candle light here. Then what happens? When I am giving heat to this side, the heat will transfer from this end to this end A to this end B. That is, here a temperature difference occurs and it will flow from this end to this end. So I am here explaining this heat transfer as it is the flow of energy from one system to another or from a part of a system to another part of a system due to the temperature difference, due to the temperature difference. Due to the temperature difference is called heat transfer. It is already I explained in the last classes. I just gave you as a introduction for your class. And now we are going to classify this heat transfer into three. We are going to look which are the three types of heat transfer. Now we are considering an example. This is a beaker and I am heating here. I am giving temperature that like just here this beaker is getting heated by a fire. And now this beaker has water. So this is a metal handle, not plastic handle, and this is a metal handle. Now when I am giving heat to this side and when I am holding this, what happens? Still I get the heat flow from this end to this end. Here you feel the heat. And here takes place is the conduction. Here takes place the conduction. We already learned what is conduction and we already explained what is conductor and insulator. And this is the first type of heat transfer. And now the second thing is that how the heat is transferring in this liquid. In this liquid, the heat transfer is not by this conduction, it is by a new term called convection. I think this is a new term and I will explain it later. It is convection. Convection. And this is the second type of heat transfer. And in this example, here we have one more type of heat transfer. That is, when we are heating this beaker and standing near to this, still we get certain heat that is radiated. For example, when we are standing here and holding this hand at a near place, what we feel? We just feel some hotness in this hand. That is because of the radiation that is emitted by this body. So, the third type of heat transfer is the radiation. It is the, just that is from this, here are emitting some sort of radiations. You are familiar with these radiations, okay. So, it is called radiation. So, in this example, we are saying that heat transfer is take place in three types. One is conduction, the second one is convection, and the third one is radiation. Now, this conduction, convection and radiation takes place in different types of substances. This conduction is we already explained, and I think you already learned everything about this conduction. Now we are considering what is the difference, how this difference takes place in this type of transfer. For solids, the conduction takes place, and for liquids and gases, there takes place convection. So, for solids, it takes place the conduction, and for liquids and gases, it takes place convection. So, how can we call these liquids and gases together a name? Do you know? Fluids. It is fluids. So, these fluids includes liquids and gases. So, for fluids, the heat transfer occurs by convection, and for solids, there occurs conduction. Now, for solids, how the molecular arrangement takes place? For solids, if it is a cube of wood, the molecular arrangement is like the molecules or particles are arranged very closely packed. They are very closely packed. This is the arrangement of particles in solids. And then what is the arrangement in liquid and gases? We just look it like that. In a beaker, I am taking water. Then the molecular arrangement is not just closely packed. They have some space in between the particles. They have some space between the particles. This is the molecular arrangement of liquid. And for gases, they are too much free. That is, they have too much space between the particles. This is the gaseous molecular arrangement. Okay. Now, in conduction, it happens that there is no actual movement of the particles takes place. That is, for example, we are considering a simple example. Three people are standing like this, very near, and they want to pass a ball. So, what they do? They are standing, the first one is here, the second one is here, and the third one is here. Then what happens? They just transfer the ball by standing from that position itself. The first one is at A, the second one is at B, and the third one is at C. So, here they are not moving from their original position. They just transfer the ball from A to B and B to C. So, the transfer is taking place here, like this. And now, in this case, we are considering three people. 1, 2, and 3. Here, these people have some distance, And for passing this ball, they want to move from this position to this. That is, this man is at A, this man is at B, and this man is at C. So, for moving this ball from A to B, this person want to travel and go this ball to the second person. And then the second person hold this ball and want to travel to the C and give this ball. So here, what is the difference between two examples? Here this person is not getting a position change. But in this person A is traveling to B. That is, he have a position change. He have a position change. This is the same thing happens in the conduction for solids. They are very much closely packed, and by transferring the heat here, they are just transferring the heat from one molecule to another without the actual movement of particles. Without the actual movement. They have no actual movement of particles. Takes place in our conduction. And what is happening in this? Here, the actual movement of particles takes place for the heat transfer. That is, takes place in our convection. I think the difference between the conduction and convection is clear for you. That is because in the solids, the molecular pack is very closely packed. But in these liquids and gases, they have some space, and these molecules are traveling from one place to another to transfer heat. This is the basic concept of conduction and convection. I think it's clear for you. Now we are considering another example. I am taking a beaker and filling it with water. And I am giving a candle to boil this water. Then what happens here? First of all, the liquid at the bottom gets heated. First of all, here get heated. And the top of the fluid or this liquid cannot get heated faster. At first, this is colder. After heating these particles at the bottom, these particles are going to the top, and the colder molecules at the top just go to the bottom of the liquid. So here takes place a circular motion between the hotter and colder molecules of this liquid. So here a circular motion takes place, that when we heat it, the molecules at this bottom get heated, and then the heated molecules just travel to top. This is because of the density variation of this liquid. It is because of the density variation. You just understand this reason. So, we are saying that these molecules, the top of the molecule and the bottom molecule are just moving from its positions. So, here takes place is the heat transfer, that is called convection. Then how we can explain this convection? We are explaining this convection as it is the process of heat transfer from a liquid by the actual movement of particles from its mean position, by the actual movement. Actual movement of particles from its mean position, means from its initial position. That is called the convection. So, when the water is boiling, there happens convection. And in your textbook, there is another example that is done by potassium permanganate. It also have the same effect, that they are taking a round bottom flask and they are just giving a candle here, and it fills with water, and then they are putting a piece of potassium permanganate in it without stirring this water. And when you observe this, you can see that the motion of the hotter molecules and the motion of the colder molecules in a circular motion can be seen in this experiment, because you know this potassium permanganate shows pink color. This potassium permanganate shows pink color. It is explained in your textbook. You please want to read and understand this experiment. So, this is an example which explains the process of convection. So, I think this concept convection is clear for you. These all are about this topic convection. And now, in your textbook, they have an example of sea breeze and land breeze. Now the question is, what is sea breeze and land breeze? We are considering sea and land, and this is daytime. Now, who get heat faster? Do this sea or land? This sea have water and here sand. Here sand and here water. So the thing is that according to the specific heat capacity of water, this water takes too much time to get heated and this land get heated faster. So the land gets heated faster. This is hotter than this sea or this water. Now what happens is that the colder air from the sea, again the colder air from the sea get rushed to this land. This is called sea breeze. Sea breeze means the cold air is coming from sea at the daytime. That is called sea breeze. I think it's clear for you. And now the question is, what is land breeze? This takes place in the daytime, and then at the night there happens the reverse of this. At night there is no sun, and at that time we have higher temperature. At night the sea have higher temperature. So the sea is hotter than this land. So the cold air from the land, get travel to this sea, and it is called land breeze. That is, the cold air from the land is traveling to the hot sea is called land breeze. That is, takes place in night, and sea breeze takes place at daytime. This is the land breeze and sea breeze, and this is happening because of the convection. This is happening because of the convection. So we can say this sea breeze and land breeze is an example of convection, and the convection of the air takes place between this sea and land is because happening this flow of breeze or cold air from the land to the sea or sea to land. That is called sea breeze and land breeze. I think it is clear for you. Now we are going to the next topic. Now the topic convection is over, and now please listen here. A person is traveling through the land under sun, and this person feels hot. How this heat is transferred from the sun to this person? Do it happens through convection? No. Here the both things are not happening, and here takes place the radiation. Here takes place the radiation. important thing is that between this sun and earth, there are more spaces having no medium. They are having no medium. So the thing is that for radiation, there have no medium to transmit the energy. Here the energy is heat. So for conduction and convection, they need some medium. This is a very important point, that for conduction and convection, they need some medium for transfer heat, and for radiation, they need no medium for transferring heat or their energy. So every body is continuously emitting certain radiations. It may be heat or some other radiations. Here we are considering the heat. So every body having particular temperature is continuously emitting radiations. They are continuously emitting certain radiations. For example, when we are traveling in a bus having too much people, you feel like too much hot, right? That is because every person is radiating certain amount of heat. That's why we feel hot. That is one of the examples of radiation. The another example is that you use the room heater. Room heater. It is also an example of the radiation, that the room heater is emitting certain radiations to heat the room. That is the another example. And when we are considering a beaker having water of some temperature 80 degrees Celsius, still this body is emitting some radiations. So we are concluding that every body having certain temperature is emitting radiations continuously, and this radiation or this process radiation needs no medium for their transfer of heat. This is the thing we are focusing here. I think it's clear for you. The next question is, why we are using umbrella at summer? Why we are using umbrella? What is the reason? In summer, the sun is very hot, and the reason is that when the radiation comes from sun, it gets partially reflected and partially transmitted. Partially reflected and partially transmitted. So for reflecting this energy, we are using umbrella in summer season. And now the question is, if an object absorbs, this transmission means it is just the absorption of heat. When an object absorbs heat, what happens there? When a body absorbs heat, its temperature gets increased. That is when, first of all, when this body have 10 degrees Celsius and the fall of energy takes place and the absorption takes place, then the temperature of this body gets increased to certain value. So we are saying that here when a heat energy is transferring or hitting on a substance, there occurs a reflection or absorption takes place, and this absorption depends on the color of the substance. That is the next point. The absorption or reflection of the heat is depends on the color of the substance. You all heard that use light colors in summer. Use light colors in summer and use dark colors in winter. Dark colors in winter. Then what is the reason? Have any relation between this color and the temperature? Yeah, definitely there is a reason, and we just have to find it by doing a simple experiment. I am taking two tin cans. I am taking two tin cans having same size. And I am filling it with water of equal amount. I am filling it with water equal amount. And I am painting this white. And this black. And I am putting these two boxes under sun for half an hour. And then observe what differences takes place in this temperature of this both water. What do you think? What is the difference takes place? When we open the box, for the white painted box, the water is less hot than this black painted box. That is, the water inside this black box is more hotter than this water. So, it means that the black color absorbs more heat. Black color absorbs more heat. So, then what for this white color? It absorbs heat but in a small amount. So, we are doing another experiment that again two boxes which is painted white and black. But I am filling this with a temperature of 80 degrees Celsius water and here also 80 degrees Celsius water. And I am keeping it in room for 15 minutes. I am taking it for a 15 minutes. Then what happens? After this 15 minutes, we observe that for this white beaker or this bottle, the heat get emitted. But in this black, there is no such emission takes place. That means in this black, the heat is more than this black. In these two examples, we are trying to explain that for this light clothes or this white or light, for this light clothes, the emission or the reflection is more. Here, the reflection of energy or heat is more, and this is good in summer. This light clothes are wearing good in summer, and for dark clothes, it absorbs heat more than light clothes and it maintains a good temperature in our body in winter. So, it's good to wear dark clothes in winter. These are the 2 points here we are mentioning that. So, the light clothes reflect more and that is good in summer, and dark clothes absorb heat more and that is good in winter. These are the things we explain here. And there is another point that why we are using woolen clothes in winter. Why we are using woolen clothes in winter. Why we are using woolen clothes in winter? The point is that do these woolen clothes are good conductors of heat or bad conductors? What is the point? The point is that woolen clothes are bad conductors of heat. They are bad conductors. They are bad conductors of heat. That means these woolen clothes have so many threads and they have many openings, and in this opening they are filled with air. And this air is a bad conductor of heat. There is bad conductor that means there filled air and this air is a bad conductor. So while we wearing woolen clothes, that helps to avoid the transfer of heat from our body to surroundings. When the heat is lost from our body to surroundings, we feel cold. So we are wearing woolen clothes and this reduces the heat loss from our body. In these openings, there filled air and this air is a bad conductor, and that's why the woolen clothes keep the body warmer, and that's why we are using woolen clothes in winter. These are the things here. And now there is a question that I am giving you a single thick blanket. I am giving you a thick single one blanket, and I am giving you two blankets which are thin blankets, but we have two in number, and but for this thick blanket we have only one. So which you will choose and why? What is the reason? That is the question. Which one will you select? Which will give you more warmth for this thick blanket or this thin blanket? What is the answer? The answer is simple, that we want to select the two thin blankets. The reason is that when we are putting the two blankets, you want to select the thin blankets having two in number. That is because when we are putting the two blankets, there have a gap between these two, and here there fills air. And you know this air is a bad conductor of heat, and because of this we get more warmer than this thick blanket. So this is a question in your textbook, and this is a very important point that you have to remember, that we have to select the two thin blankets, and because when we are putting two blankets and they have a gap between two blankets, and in between the blankets there fill air, and this air is a bad conductor of heat. In the last class I asked you to find the air and water are good conductor of heat or bad conductor of heat. The answer is air and water are bad conductors of heat. And so here we are concluding our chapter. In this chapter we discussed different types of thermometers, what is heat, how the heat transfer takes place, and we explained the three: conduction, and finally radiation. You want to study what is conduction, convection and radiation, and some examples have to be remembered. And moreover that the sea breeze and land breeze is very important, so you want to study it well. And this all about this chapter. I will give you notes later, and you have to read your textbook 3-4 times, and that will help you to write your examination. Thank you.